Welcome to Las Películas Sábados Gigantes at the Cinemarijuana Theatre.
Yeah!
All right.
That's right. That's
Done.
right.
This is how it's done.
That's right. We are a cinema appreciation society that meets and greets weekly.
To meet and greet movies. It's with the elite meet to greet movies.
I think we did this last time. Yes, and we
We're
watch
assholes.
movies, and we don't know what we're going to watch in advance, and then we talk about what we found out we watched the next week.
Which is what we're doing right now.
And that's what we're here to do right now. Correctamundo. So,
first off, happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
yes,
Right.
All of
this
you.
is a
Happy
special-
American Thanksgiving, I guess.
Yeah, happy
So-
America.
To American.
Black
Yeah,
Friday's
American
matter.
Girl,
listeners.
and to our Native American.
Yeah, and the islands
We're
around the
grateful
world we
that you
put
lay your
bases
life
on.
before us so we could murder
And-
you, we white people.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes,
even
yes,
to
everybody
celebrate
has
it-
become a victim of,
Happy Thanksgiving
of
anyway.
American imperialist colonialism.
Let's hear it for that.
Thank you.
Or Indian gambling.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
Way to,
Right?
way to bring the room down. All right.
We've enjoyed not giving you a pension,
Yes.
nor paying widow benefits.
Yes. So the podcast might be a little light today on account of the fact that.
But the food won't be if you
with
know
the-
what I mean.
Yeah.
That's right.
Ba-dum-bum.
It
With
smells
the-
delicious,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah,
Good,
turducken is
good.
cooking away in the oven. No bullshit.
Yes, because of the holiday week,
It's like
I had limited time
Kush
to
and
prepare.
turducken, just wafting through the air here.
That's
And
right.
turducken.
We're
Actually,
trying to
speaking
get.
of which, let
I
me get
can't
the
wait for the
aromatics
flatulence
going
to
here.
begin.
We're trying to get the air
Percussion.
so full of smoke that it actually infuses into the turducken.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's gonna be good.
We'll let you know next week.
Do you have your hash potatoes
Well, yeah.
cooking right now?
Mashed potatoes.
So the film we are
potato,
here
mashed
on this joyous occasion to discuss is the 1989 blackest of comedies, Penn Teller Get Killed, directed by Arthur Penn.
Stunning.
No relation.
His last film, his final film.
Did he stroke out?
I don't know how he went. Somebody can look that up.
Oh, look that up.
Yes, and written by Penn and Teller, the magicians. If you don't know who they are,
Who doesn't know Penn and
they
Teller?
right? Well, especially
Come
back
on.
then, I can see it because they were kind
Right,
of
they were totally fresh.
they
right?
they were an underground kind of a thing.
What strikes
but,
me is they were able to convince Arthur Penn to do anything, given who they were. 25
well,
years ago.
that's kind of like okay.
Yeah, watching it now, I'm surprised this movie ever got made.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's the thing. It
Human
kind
Centipede.
It kind of received. Well, I guess I'll talk a little bit about that when I get
that
to
is-
Died
that.
in 2010 at the
that
age
is
of
super
88
dank,
of
by the
heart
way.
failure. Arthur Penn.
Oh,
Wow, so he
R.I.P.
got-
Dead
He
buddy.
got blacklisted because of this movie. Then he lived
Do
a long time.
yeah, right. Do you want to give us a quick couple of bullet points on the amazing career that Arthur Penn had that was capped off by this
The
film?
Miracle Worker with Anne Bancroft
Big
and Patty Duke. The Chase. Bonnie and Clyde.
Nice.
Alice's
Classic.
Oh,
Restaurant.
that's such a good
Oops, damn it. I said classic.
Oh, where's the Dunce
Bonnie
hat?
Oh, John said classic.
You're trying to ruin the holiday with your party
I'm
fouls.
sorry.
Yeah.
Alice's
Jeez, man,
Restaurant.
come on, knock
Little
that shit
Big
out.
Man.
Big little man.
Night Moves.
Little Dustin.
Dead of Winter, and then Penn and Teller Get Killed.
Celebrated director.
What a
He
career.
was the stuff in 1973.
Bonnie and Clyde is.
How drunk was he when he signed on for Penn and Teller Get Killed?
Maybe they
Okay.
did some magic on him. I'll make your penis look
Yeah.
larger.
Okay.
What man doesn't want to hear that?
Fine. Question added to Bulls Deep.
All right.
All right.
Some of these other films I don't know anything about. Target, not Targets, Target.
Yeah, Targets is Peter Bogdanovich,
Right,
I believe,
right.
with Boris
Four
Karloff.
Friends.
That's a great
The
movie.
Missouri Breaks.
Oh, that's a good one.
The
That's
Missouri Breaks.
that's Brando.
You're correct, sir. And Jack Nicholson. Oh, I gotta see that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, what about the illustrious film careers of Penn and Teller?
What about it?
Bullshit.
Actually, Teller wrote and directed, and didn't he star in on the Dawn of the Dead, the Zack Snyder, James Gunn Dawn of the Dead from
Right.
2004.
Okay,
on
okay,
the
I get it.
DVD, there's some bonus features where they have a bunch of other people make little
That strikes
zombie
me as-
short films.
That could be true.
It is, and Teller made one of them, and it's really pretty cool. We
Yeah,
actually got to talk
they're
to him
fun.
about
You
it.
don't. That's the kind of bonus features you don't get too much. They really went above and beyond the Call of
Yeah.
Duty for that as a bonus
They
feature
really
on a
dug deep
DVD.
on that, 'cause that's
Yeah.
like several different menus and DVDs.
Yeah, and
deep.
actually real bonus content
Right.
of like outside stories.
A really good documentary Teller directed just recently is called Tim's Vermeer,
Oh,
which is about a
yeah.
guy trying to recreate some Vermeer paintings and figuring out how Vermeer painted all these paintings.
Oh, wow.
When they had
limited
light
skills.
diffusion, and-
Technology was
yeah.
not present. Yeah.
Awesome.
So Teller,
Interestingly
that's like 2-3 years
related.
ago, yeah.
yeah. So
It's all
the
illusions, right?
The
It's all
illustrious Exactly. It was all done with mirrors.
Yeah.
Smoke and mirror.
The career of Penn and Teller include
Goodness.
Penn and Teller Get Killed, The Ice Scream, A History of the Residents, a cameo in Car 54, Where Are You?
Awesome.
With David Johansen.
Rad. Of the New York Dolls.
Buster Poindexter.
More street cred.
Fantasia 2000, The Aristocrats.
Yeah, that's
The
correct.
Aristocrats. is a
Tim's
great
Vermeer
moment.
and the James Randi documentary, An Honest Liar, who made a cameo
That's
in
great.
Penn and Teller
Penn
Get
Teller
Killed.
Get Killed.
Oh, bringing it around.
The amazing Randy.
Full circle.
Yeah, full circle. Well, and then I guess
Dicks in a round.
it should be
All
time
right.
to
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
We should get
Jason's awake now.
the synopsis.
So yes,
this
let's
film?
go to Kenzie for a synopsis of Penn and Teller Get Killed. Take it away.
Okay, Penn and Teller Get Killed is basically about Penn and Teller, people trying to kill Penn, and spoiler alert, they do both die in the end.
Oh.
So
So make sure you
Sorry-
watch the
sorry,
film
Garrett.
first. No, just kidding. We, in fact, it's right in the title. How could you be spoiling anything? The fucking film is
Yeah.
called. Penn and
They
Teller
even
Get
tell you the Penn's like, hey, we said we were gonna die. We had to die.
yeah, there's lots of magic in the movie too,
It doesn't involve. the
and
word
that's pretty
and.
much it.
All right. So, Bone Zone.
Bone Zone.
There's no such thing as magic, Kenzie.
Is it
Yes,
like-
huh?
that was kind of an interesting Bone Zone sound.
Anyone from this film? Before we get started, anyone from this film?
I like
Worthy.
Teller better as a person, I think.
Right.
But I think like if I were in Vegas and we're like
Right.
backstage and like drinking and Penn was being all funny to me, I would be like, okay, let's have sex.
All right.
Come here, big
So
man.
both of them, really.
Well, I think she's saying Penn in the drunken bone zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teller straight
Teller,
up.
Teller. Well,
Teller is like friend zone, I think.
yeah, she says
So-
cute, but
so-
friend zone.
Yeah.
Well-
DBZ.
Oh.
Drunken bone zone for one, friend zone for the other.
FC
Yeah.
So
and
okay.
DBZ.
So
Which is a
no for
perfect-
one, asterisk on the other.
Yes.
All right.
Well, it's necessary though because the one's got to serve up the other.
Yeah.
Which is serve
Well,
the Bone Zone.
They're. That's true. I mean, and
One's got
yeah.
to move the flesh, and one's got to put the flesh together, and one's got to press the flesh, and everyone says, "Can I get you some more?"
and they're
Because in my
What?
experience,
truly,
I often
truly
want to
skilled at
have
working
water
together.
while I'm pressing flesh.
Is that from a Cronenberg movie?
I prefer sweaty pancakes, but
Ah,
all
so
right.
it's very
You know,
good.
when we do the shunting, you know,
Oh.
I always ask for water.
Yes.
There's not enough shunting.
Never. All right. So
If you, hey, question: if you could be guaranteed getting put back the way things originally were, would you shunt?
well, I don't
Would
see.
you try it out?
I don't see why not, unless there
Yeah.
was some hideously
Does it-
negative.
I mean,
downside.
maybe you freak out with that bodily disassociation
I suppose.
and
I
whatnot.
suppose. As
I just
long
don't
as,
want it to taste bad.
Well, I suppose
But
as
if it
long
didn't
as
taste bad, yeah.
it was, as long as it was all hot chicks, I think I'd be into it.
Like that.
So
that
the
girl-
cast of the society wouldn't do it for you.
No,
Maybe
well,
the girl.
maybe one or two of them.
Maybe the mom and girl with the
No.
the
The
face
boobs slip on
vagina.
the back of their body. That'd be something.
But I mean, they don't
Yeah,
really seem to be
yeah.
like person
I'm
on
gonna say
person.
no.
They're shunting. They're just all kind of.
Right. It just
Well,
makes
that's
up.
kind of what makes it weird, though, too.
This is the podcast. We're
Yeah.
talking about society tonight.
Yeah, right. No shit. Well, also from 1989.
Ooh,
Ooh, bring it
that.
full circle.
All
That's a
right,
good mashup.
all right.
That's
So
a great
let's-
segue.
Let's do the introductions we never did.
Oh, yeah. Man, we
yeah.
always,
yeah,
we always
yeah,
pull the
yeah.
order aside.
If you don't want to talk about sex stuff, don't bring up shunting, Zeb.
That's our. You know, we
It's
joke
always
about
on my
Monty
mind,
Python.
Jason.
You know, the credits don't always run at the end. of
That's
Monty
true,
Python.
yeah. That's
All
exactly
right. So clockwise, starting with me, I'm Ed.
I am Zeb.
I'm John.
I'm Kenzie.
I am Garrett.
I'm inside of you.
You
I'm
are
Matt.
inside of me.
All right. So Penn and Teller Get Killed. This selection was made by me.
So
I
yeah,
won.
we gotta go to you.
Yeah,
To find
So
out.
we'll just start with
Oh,
me.
wow.
To find out
We'll-
WTF.
We'll just.
Why did you pick this
I
film?
was a young
Oh, and we
boy
should also-
dreaming of magic.
We should also point out that this is from our Cinema Under Glass series, the
Yes, the
Bromance.
buddy
Yeah.
pit,
The third
buddy
pick, I
pictures.
believe.
the
bromance, womance, bros
Bros-
before hoes, chicks before dicks,
Yes.
This makes perfect sense then.
buddy
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
So take it away.
Uteruses before deuteruses.
That's pretty
Deuterus.
good.
I can't claim credit for that.
Besties before testies.
All right, so Penn
Fries
and Teller
before
Get Killed.
guys.
Penn and Teller Get Killed. Yeah, that's funny. Yes,
Should be writing
so
these down.
I was Penn and Teller are, I think, wonderful performers. that intrigued me as a child because the first time I recall seeing them was in a Run DMC video.
Oh man!
And then later on becoming aware of them sort of because of Saturday Night Live. And I don't even remember how they sort of came onto my radar, but I was very much aware of them. But they, as a little kid back then, they're not really accessible.
I just want to remark that you said came on your radar.
Well, I guess I kind of came when they came on my radar.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
It's hard not to be
well,
aware
but it
of
was
that.
more metaphorical, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so when HBO used to run this movie, and I dug it because I knew it was coming out. I saw it on some talk show appearance, and they said it was coming out, and it didn't ever come out, and nobody's seen this film, but it ran on HBO, and I used to watch the shit out of it. And as a kid,
I was gonna see it in theaters, but I was busy that day.
yeah, I know, but it was on at 2:30, and I just couldn't make
make it.
that show.
Because you were waiting for Swamp Thing 2.
Yeah,
To make a judgment call, what was Swamp
I'm a
Thing?
sucker for Dick Durock.
Yeah.
So, and it really, because I kind of have a pretty blackened sense of humor, and the film really appealed to me for a number of reasons as a kid. The sort of inconsistencies and the kind of odd structural sort of leaps that the film makes didn't faze me in the slightest. And I just thought that the blackness of the humor was absolutely wonderful. And I hadn't revisited the film in some time, but I have nothing but positive memories for it, knowing that it's been kind of critically maligned, which we'll talk about in a bit. So I thought when we decided on the theme, I was like, holy shit, I know what I can show. I'm like, it'd be a perfect time to like not only re-examine it, but to also sort of use it as a way to sort of vet myself. If it bombs here,
Maybe you're
maybe
wrong.
I'm just an asshole.
Maybe you're the douche.
But if it goes over well, like maybe there is something to it.
So maybe
that
Siskel
other
and Ebert were the
people-
douches.
Right, exactly. Because you know what I mean. Like they don't all necessarily have to.
Well,
be
I think that there's
Amadeus.
on some level, no matter how many classes, how many degrees you have in cinema, personal opinion is just still part of it. You know.
Do you mean film?
Well, exactly, right? See, so I mean, so some people, not everybody's right all the time.
Yeah.
Even the best critics out there, I think, can make a bad judgment call,
Yeah.
which could be the case with this one.
I want to roll back the introductions even a little further. Ed, you
Yes.
said that this connected with you as a young person because of its inconsistencies.
Well, no, not that. That's not why it necessarily connected with me, but that it certainly didn't. For a critic watching it as an adult, like that's certainly an issue if you see it. I mean, when you watch it, like it does kind of this weird stuff halfway through.
Well, I guess what I'm driving at by coming back to that comment, one of the slams the professoriate critical literati will say, the inconsistencies suggest a lack of technique, an ill-conceived professionalism, a mistake in storytelling. But a teenager watching this would say, this is a correlation to fucked up adult culture that I can draw to because that's how I perceive adults.
Well, yeah.
And
Well,
is that what it is?
Well,
It's not so much.
that's part of it, but I mean, also too, I think it's that I think it's that I don't know. It's kind of difficult to describe, but before you know that there are rules and shit,
Yeah.
you kind of just go along for the ride. Like I don't know, like I kind of liken it to like a Looney Tunes. You know, if you watch
Or
any
it's
of the
even
great-
like when we were kids, used to watch like Monty Python's Flying Circus and stuff.
right?
Like,
I was
there's a
already
lot
drawn
of irreverent humor that
to
doesn't
kind of absurdist stuff,
right that breaks with the structure.
And I was already kind of drawn to that stuff, and I think that certainly, because I think if you were to ask Penn and Teller, at least I hope they would say that they were deliberately
This
sort
was
of
all
playing
planned,
with,
right. We
you know what I
meant it
mean?
to be this way.
And even if it failed, at least I think they were trying to do something kind of. Because they don't do like we were talking about earlier, they don't do anything on the level. There's always like a slant to what they do.
Yeah.
And like the video game they were going to come out with Sega Saturn,
Yeah.
Desert Bus.
Yeah, Desert
I
Bus.
mean, the most infamous like video game trolling of all time.
They
It's,
never
like,
play anything
hilarious.
straight. That's just part
That's
of
what
their-
I'm saying.
part
So
of their
they
shtick.
if they're making a movie, so I get the impression that they probably met. Well, we'll talk about this later. Anyways, I love this film. My 3 words for Penn and Teller Get Killed are humor in suicide. All right, Zeb, let's take it to you. Go ahead and tell us about it.
Penn and Teller. as a general rule, I hate magic because I think I'm being lied to. And the reason why I'm saying that is how it's presented. And I've seen like tons of schmaltz magic tricks from David Copperfield to David Blaine, Chris Angel, any Vegas magician I've seen. The ones I truly love and respect is Penn and Teller, because they kind of update these old magic tricks for, you know, the current status of today. But they also have like a message behind it, and also how they reveal some magic tricks. It's because
bunkers too. Yeah,
they're trying to like elevate the art of magic, where it's beyond the David Copperfield, oh, I got a, you know, tiger in a cage, Siegfried and Roy kind of thing.
They tell you it's a trick.
They tell you a trick, and they tell you, hey, you are being put on. But here's a better way of you being put on. And like just all their magic tricks are completely insane and awesome. With that,
frequently so violent, so wonderful.
I love it. I love it. And you know, just the whole fact of how Penn Jillette is a great orator, and Teller could speak tons of words without even saying one, just through his facial expressions and his movements. A great magician pair today. One of the greatest magicians working today. And I kind of equate it to like these two students that we have. One, you know, I'll call him J-Man, and one we'll call him Brew.
Yeah, okay.
I like Brew more because he's more of like, hey, this is fun. And I hate the J guy because he's more of the David Copperfield, like, look at me, I'm slick and I'm, you know, doing this.
He's a phony asshole with an overinflated ego, and Brew,
it's the real deal.
He's got the goods.
Yeah, and I imagine the same way with Penn and Teller. With that, knowing that this was Penn and Teller Get Killed, and I haven't seen it since it was on Comedy Central back in the day, I forgot everything about it until you popped it in. And I'm like, I'm going to leave this with an open mind, because I remembered a couple scenes here and there because of the commercials, going up to pee, getting the bowl of cereal, whatever. I felt like, okay, the first two acts were like, okay, what's going on here? They wanted to like stuff it with as much stuff as they could. Like, hey, psychic surgery is complete bullshit.
Right.
This is complete bullshit. Hey, isn't that complete bullshit? We're in a movie. And then the third act is when it really tied everything together. And I really like films that do that, like Nashville. I fucking hate Robert Altman.
Right.
I know a lot of people are like, oh, how dare you? But I fucking hate Altman. But Nashville is like one of the few films that I truly enjoy of his, because everything comes together. Everything had a purpose in the end. Same thing with Penn and Teller Get Killed. Everything had a purpose at the end, which is Penn and Teller get killed. And then it starts with the whole I started a joke song playing, and then everybody starts shooting themselves.
It's so great.
And like I was like in amazement. So my 3 words for this film are movie long joke, because that's what the movie was. It was just this one long joke. The first 2 acts added nothing. You know, they were fun to watch. They were cute to watch. And it was great to see the amazing Randy pop up there. But like at the end, it was like, all right, this whole movie was just one complete fucked up joke on the fucking audience, on us.
right.
And even say, hey, there's no sequel. We get killed. That's it. We're not, doing anything. So movie long joke is my 3 words for this film.
And if you know them too, it's like it's perfectly in line.
Yeah, it was movie long joke.
Okay. All right. John, take it away.
Well, I saw this movie as a kid, the same time you did, I'm sure, as on HBO, and this is one of those ones we watched a bunch over and over again as kids will do many times. And it's a lot of fun. I remember almost, I'm being at least a little bit disturbed by the ending as a kid because it is so bleak. It's such, it's so dark to think about, like, as if people who who would just kill themselves or whatever, like on a whim like that, which of course is kind of the joke, right?
People
there.
that are maybe so teetering on the edge,
like the cops.
A bad day can push them in the wrong direction,
right?
Or maybe the right direction.
But yeah, it's this is it's a great kind of. It's almost like when you go see Penn and Teller, like, I'm sure there's a time we're staying around waiting for the show, and they should just put this movie on, and you should just watch it before, because it's really great, especially because when, they were a big deal in the 80s, when they were on MTV and Saturday Night Live, and this movie came out, and they were edgy because they were the first ones to kind of update magic, because everything prior to them was still that classic old school bullshit stage magic.
Well, and they were so. I definitely want to
Doug Henning
to make sure that we also acknowledge the violence in their
Well,
act,
right.
which is part of it.
Which is part of it, too.
They were so it was like such a fuck you,
Yeah.
because they don't have like just that kind of blood,
Right.
In a
Right.
It's like, oh, magic for the kiddies.
Because when you're sawing a lady in half, you don't have her entrails start coming out normally, but with them they did. And then also exposing, and of course they do this great thing where they'll show you 3 tricks and teach you how to do 2, or they'll show you how to do a trick, but then they'll show you a way to do it, and then they'll do it in a way that they didn't explain. So they take away, they still leave you guessing.
They still don't give you really.
They still give you
anything.
everything, right? And you still leave you guessing. And obviously they don't claim to be magicians, but you sure as shit to know how they do what they're doing. And so they were the bad boys of magic at the time, as corny as it is to say.
Bad boys of
They totally were.
Well, for those of you listening, I just held up a picture of Doug Henning. This was magic.
Making
Before
magic.
them.
Google image search Doug Henning. This was
Yeah.
magic before
Did
Penn and
Martin
Teller.
Short do some character that was like a
he
take
did
off
have a
on
thing
him?
like that where it was like some
Jackie
rainbow.
And then
jumpsuit.
Penn and Teller comes along. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, same thing as you. We watched this as kids, and I mean, we used to watch, Looney Tunes, Monty Python, and I think that structural weirdness doesn't really bother you. And I think obviously they're huge. There's huge Three Stooges fans,
Right.
and I know they're fans of like the other kind of like the old school, like the Laurel and Hardy kind of things. And I think they went for a simplistic structure to this movie, where it's almost like that kind of a vibe where they're just the 2 schmucks.
Right.
They're the Laurel and Hardy, or they're 2 of the Three Stooges.
Because at no point do they elevate themselves to seem like where they're like enviable
right, exactly. And
or
even
above
though
it or super smart or
they bring themselves down a lot, and the fact too that they're just constantly pranking each other makes it seem like, I mean, for them, almost like the act never dies.
Yeah.
They're on the entire time,
And
which isn't the
actors
case in
on
real
film.
life. But obviously, in the movie, they're playing themselves as characters. So in the movie, it's like, I mean, because we've seen Penn and Teller, and after the show, they come out, you talk to them, and Teller just talks. Or, I mean, like Matt pointed out at, at the Comic-Con panel,
Oh, yeah, that was great.
He talks because when they're off, he talks. It's only when they're on that he doesn't. And in this movie, they're on the whole time, so they're the characters the whole time. But it's a lot of fun. I think if you're a fan of Penn and Teller,
So even when he does talk at the end, they're playing a trick.
right?
on
Exactly.
Okay,
And so if you're a fan of Penn and Teller, I can't see who's not liking this movie. If you don't like Penn and Teller, don't bother watching it, because I don't think it's going to change your mind. I don't know how they would feel about it. I don't know if maybe they're embarrassed by it or they're proud of it.
All right, 3 words.
3 words I would use. We said it before actually in this podcast, but smoke and mirrors,
All right.
because it's them and it's the movie.
Okay. All right, Kenzie, tell us about Penn and Teller Get Killed.
Okay, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I like Penn and Teller, and I like this movie, and I didn't think there was anything wrong with the movie, even though I know you guys are all about to talk shit about the quality in a few minutes. But to me, like, that wasn't even a thing. So I thought this movie was a lot of fun, and I like the ending quite a bit. So my 3 words are pretty lame, but it's all I could think of right now. So
That's a lot of words.
Unless you've got a whole big parenthetical, which is only one word.
Yeah.
so anyway, my 3 words are like funny magic movie.
Okay. All right, Jason. Let's go to you.
All right.
Let's go to you, Jason.
Wait, is Garrett not going?
I didn't
Well, he didn't see. He didn't see it. He didn't see it.
My 3 words are didn't see it.
Did not say it.
All right, Jason, take it away.
I've only I've always liked Penn and Teller when I happen to see it, but it's just like one of those type of acts that I just happen to see. Like I've never sought them out. Definitely love the Lewis Black, but almost like but funnier energy that young Penn Jillette brings.
Yeah, for sure.
Something about that was like really addicting. I could watch him yell at things in his ranty way like all day. Like when he just starts going nuts about the proletariat or whatever, or capitalism, when he gets that guy to throw money at him.
When he starts to fight with like
The money
communism
fight.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
He's got a lot of energy.
It's wonderful. And he loves shitting people up.
But yeah, I definitely like them experimenting with it. They dip their toe in the waters of film. They're like, all right, I guess, swimming isn't for me. But they definitely, put their mark on it.
They gave it the old college try.
Yeah.
They gave it the old college try, and it came out distinctly Penn and Teller. So
yes, for sure.
So maybe they didn't like it enough to continue making them, but they definitely did what they wanted.
Right.
Yeah, I think what they made is very true to them.
And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, if this was on TV, I definitely watched it again. Like, there was nothing to me that was unenjoyable about the film.
Right.
I don't know. I guess my 3 words would be. I did not think about that. I was thinking like just funny enough. Because it was still like a weird movie that doesn't quite sit right. But like I was definitely like talking it out loud with you guys because I don't pre-think the whole week like the rest of you do.
Right.
Talking out loud with you guys, like I was genuinely
Something might be
entertained like the entire
overestimated.
time.
Well, and that's the important.
It wasn't
part,
a great
really.
movie, but I was super entertained. So
Yeah.
maybe just funny enough is fitting, I guess.
All
Like
right.
not everything is a 4-star like everyone else. Like
No,
rates
that's right,
stuff.
and I don't think everything has to be.
No.
You know, some movies just have to be just funny
Okay,
enough.
Just funny enough. All right, Chris, let's
Just
take it to
funny
you. Have you take it to the stage with Penn and Teller Get Killed.
At least you
All
guys
right.
don't make us do haiku.
Yeah, I have nothing prepared. But
Just wait.
Yeah, wait till
That's
this
the next
gets
rating
boring.
system.
No, yeah, I don't know. I like this movie. I don't have a lot to say about it. I always like Penn and Teller. They're kind of like
Sorry.
magic taboo, I guess. I don't know, because they just reveal.
They just show you shit.
Well, they are
Tricks,
much disliked by their
Yes.
their ilk because of the fact they give away how to do tricks.
Yes, for sure.
I guess something I noticed is the movie's kind of like a carnival. Like there's like little, like you kind of arrive at little scenarios, little different like pieces of it. It's kind of patchwork.
Right.
I think you guys are talking about that too. It's like it's like a Frankenstein movie.
It's
where-
kind of like a series of like sketches or little scenes put together.
Like almost like
Yeah,
they came up
but
with
no,
scenes
kinda
a piece at a
thinly
time and then
seamed.
put them together to make
Right.
the structure of a movie.
Yeah, it feels like that, I guess.
Like
But
it's
that's
like
kind of like
bits.
that's kind of how they deliver information, though, isn't it? Like they do a bunch of short segments, kind of, don't they?
What
Like
you're
they do a
describing
bunch
is
of
like a big
different tricks.
meta-analysis of what performance is, right? I mean, that's they're pulling apart like what magic is. They're
Yes.
pulling apart what performance is. They're pulling apart what like a story is,
Uh,
and they're turning it somehow magically, to use their word,
yeah.
into something that is still satisfying,
Yeah.
despite the fact that there is no wool being pulled over your eyes.
Yeah, it definitely comes together at the end, like that thread. I guess you see that, like, kind of binds the whole thing together is that they die.
yeah.
Like,
That they succeed in their mission.
yeah, I mean, it really is just a complicated death scene for them. Really, like,
The whole thing
movie
is just really a way to kill them.
yeah. But
Kind of. All right.
That's
3
it.
words.
Brothers in Mayhem. I don't know.
All right. Isn't it
No,
like,
that's good though.
okay,
That
sure.
was good.
Isn't there a tag team?
Well, there's the Brothers of Destruction.
Okay.
No, not Destruction.
Okay. All right. So let's get into the questions here. So I guess the hot button issue, the one we need to lead off with, is Arthur Penn. What gives? I would like to say that I think because that's sort of I read an article reading about this after we watched it. A critic wrote some essay about how Arthur Penn. This is Arthur Penn's last film, and it's his worst film, and like kind of like what was he thinking? But I have to believe that I don't know if this is true or not, but I have to believe somehow maybe Penn and Teller were looking to make a movie, and they ran into Arthur Penn, or they knew him, or somebody knew him, or something, and they got introduced.
They
and
hustled him.
and well, no, they didn't hustle, but he loved their idea of like fucking with people or something, or fucking with. Or making a movie that sort of just was a little bit to the left of like what a normal movie.
Maybe he
kind
caught
of
their
is.
act at some point. Maybe he liked their act, and
Yeah.
you never know. There's a lot of serendipity in Hollywood where
Maybe.
there's a lot. I mean, somebody meets somebody at a party or something, and the next thing you know, they're doing a movie together. So yeah, I mean, it's probably
Yeah.
it could be
Penn and
something
Teller
like
hanging
that.
outside a hospital. Pretty soon they're wheeling him out. He's on drugs.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
Get him to sign the
get
a
a
couple
sign.
signatures here
You
and
can't
there.
get out of it. It's too
Yeah.
late. It's got to
Yep.
film the movie
Bingo,
anyway.
bingo, you got a movie.
Also, maybe he felt like he'd made his bones, and at this point, he could just do what he wanted to.
Maybe
It was his
Well,
fuck you
let's
pick.
also just be
Could
ageist
be.
here. Homeboy's in his middle to late 60s, and his golden years are a good 20 years behind him. And everybody knows this by 89. He doesn't have a contemporary line of work to stand him up. And he's thinking to himself, well, I'm Social Security qualified. I got some Medicare. There's a place for me to go die up in the Hollywood Hills, or I go to work. And what do I have for work?
Yeah.
Well, George Lucas has passed me by. Steven Spielberg thinks I'm a schmuck. Stanley Kubrick's off in London somewhere, so these fucking guys, why not?
Fuck it.
Yeah, no,
I can't tell if you know this for sure. If you just like fed us a string, like a
I know.
hypothetical about why he's not getting work.
Yeah, well, because I mean, I guess I'm at an age point where I'm thinking about where I'll be in 20 years and where I thought I would be 20 years ago as compared to where I am right now, and the moving target of that. And I have to figure when this dude is coming out of, say, 71, 72, and people are still pointing to him on the street and saying, "You did Bonnie and Clyde." Well, that's true. I certainly did.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tame Marlon Brando. I mean, this is well past all that.
Right.
And by now, dude's got joint pains. His heart's not working out. Eventually kills him. We learn that tonight by doing a little research. I mean, he's not well. And these young bucks are thinking, "Hey, we want you because you did Bonnie and Clyde, and we respect the snot out of you." And there's something about kissing a ring.
Yeah,
That makes the person come to the table
True.
like,
I mean, I have to imagine.
they play that card right. Ooh, watch! This guy's not going to talk to you for 3 hours, and then we're going to do a magic trick, and it'll be great. Let's make a movie. And he's like, "Hey, you did it. Let's do it."
I mean, Penn and Teller are cultured guys, so I
Yeah.
have to imagine that they were certainly aware of his work.
Also, like Garrett was pointing out, that they were really hot when they came out, so it could have been his attempt to do something that was
Hip,
fresh and
contemporary.
contemporary,
Right,
yeah.
right, an attempt to do something that I mean, obviously we're in a new era now, and I mean, if people.
It's like this, or I guess direct the Ben Stiller show.
Well, that's what. Yeah, I mean, at some point, I think maybe you don't want people to remember you for a movie you did 30 years ago. You want to remember something you did like last year, and not that he would think that this would replace Bonnie and Clyde, but
Right.
at least it'd be something that people, a new generation, will remember him for. Or
He'll
know him for.
plug into the new scene. Yeah,
Yeah.
He'll again be the guy who changed the nature of childhood by presenting Bonnie and Clyde, but now it'll be Penn and Teller.
Well, and I think we sort of defied the critics because it's pretty
That
well
was how it was
received
for
at
us.
the Cinemarijuana Theatre.
Yeah,
so.
and we were kids when we saw it, and I think it definitely,
Okay, the next question, I
affected
just
me.
want to go around the room and ask everybody: Did you buy the Carlotta McNamara Officer McNamara switch? Caitlin,
Yeah, it made me feel like an idiot.
you bought it. You didn't see it coming.
No.
Okay, because it was so weird for me having seen this movie a million times. Like the switch is like super obvious. But what about you, Chris? Did you see that coming?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You knew that the cop was their manager.
Okay, no, I didn't know it was their manager. I knew there was something up with the cop because there was like where they're wearing.
But you didn't know it was
okay.
the same actress who was Carlotta, right?
Well, I mean,
Did you ever actually articulate that to yourself? Did you ever think
Before
like
she
that's-
took off the wig and shit, did you know that?
I didn't until somebody said something. Somebody said something about it at the time during the
It's
movie,
funny listening
And
to
then
Zach
that sort of triggered it for you.
and I was like, "Well, yeah, it is obviously a woman, but then what woman?" And I figured, well, it's probably a star, but I did think of it, but I mean, I don't know.
Right. Okay. Kenzie, did you see it coming?
No, but I wasn't surprised by it either.
Okay. Zeb?
I didn't see it coming.
Okay. Excellent.
I've seen this movie a bunch, right?
Yeah.
And it still fooled me.
Did it get you?
It got me
That's
again.
rad. That's
Because I
rad.
haven't
Okay.
seen it. Like I know,
been
I
20
know
years, yeah?
we watched it one time since the '80s.
Okay.
Like we probably watched it 150 times when I was
Right.
like 6.
Right,
And then
right.
one time in the past 20 years we watched it, and that was probably at least 8-10 years ago.
You forgot
And
the trick.
Totally forgot the trick.
Yeah.
And I think she does a really great job. And it's really I was like, oh, yeah, you couldn't. I even check the credits again to make sure it wasn't
Really?
two different actresses.
Well, unless anybody has anything else to bring up, then I'm looking at the last couple of questions I have, and they're pretty fucking stupid.
So stupid we shouldn't do them.
Well,
I guess.
yeah. I mean, well,
Example.
how free should speech be?
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? I know. We're gonna be all
man.
fucking nice.
That's lame.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
Is
Yeah.
one of
So
is one of them? What are you thankful for?
I got a question for you though, and this is just because
Yes.
I'm the dummy who didn't actually see it, but I'm real sensitive to 1989 because
Oh, yeah.
I have some deep memories of that year, right? So I'm trying to place this movie in that set of memories, which are pretty removed from where we're sitting right here today. So you didn't see this in the theater at the time.
No, nobody
this is-
did.
Right.
From what I understand, it did not
This
do
movie
well.
probably dribbled out in Los Angeles and New York, and it went right back and dried up and evaporated into nothing.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know what this was coming up against at that time in 1989?
Batman.
Was it?
Well,
Like,
I mean,
that
with
was the year of
Batman,
Batman.
Yeah, it
well,
was.
That was
So
So was
June.
it going up against Batman
Yeah,
and Do
when
the
was
Right
this
Thing? Because
released?
that was the
We've
same
got
week.
it. I've got it. Let's see. I think I've got
I mean,
it here.
we don't need to go get lost in the wormhole, but it's just to realize, like, I'm trying to put this in Yeah, in that kind of a context, because I'm thinking about the way this movie could have broken better if they delayed it 3 weeks.
Release date September 22nd, 1989. So close to the end. So Batman, the summer was over.
Batman was coming. It was done. Do the Right Thing had already happened.
UHF came out and bombed.
Right.
That's a bad time to release.
They're getting ready for
movies
Glory.
kids.
Right, it's coming up.
Rain Man, Glory.
Or
Right,
was
and that's
UHF
all. Those are holiday releases.
Was
so this,
UHF 89 or 90?
I thought it was 90.
It might have been. I'm getting confused now.
I'm thinking probably it was 88 or 89 though.
This is so the kind of movie you would see on HBO, though.
Yeah.
Like, it just has that vibe.
That
where it's
Weekend
like,
at Bernie's vibe.
Right,
Your
right.
Weekend,
where it's
right.
Like you know they showed it a million times on HBO when it broke
Because they had to
there.
fill up the calendar.
Back to the
Yeah.
Future Part 2 was released in 1989.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it was going up
Indiana
against.
Jones and the Last Crusade,
Well,
Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah. And all these things are
Talking,
these are
Hanging
top
Out
of
the
right.
Kids.
Oh, it was a huge year for movies. I mean,
It was.
89
Ghostbusters 2.
Right.
Yeah, one of the top
Driving
years
Miss
for.
Daisy.
Right. That probably would have been started.
Parenthood.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh wow, I remember
Dang.
Parenthood. I watched that a billion
And Dead
times
Poets
too.
Society.
So I'm
Didn't
thinking
see
about
that
this
one.
movie.
It got
with
lost in a shuffle.
Yeah.
Well, with respect to it didn't get released widely for a variety of reasons, which you've already outlined, but that it became this pick-me-up for kids like you watching it on HBO. What, a year or two later? Is that probably
Yeah, I
right?
would imagine. Yeah, about that probably. It's like
So-
1990 or
I
so.
think I watched it
So then
later.
here's a level. Were they kind of planning on that? I mean, of course they weren't. They wanted to make their money back.
I don't
Nobody
know
wanted
that-
to lose their investment.
Yeah.
However, were they creating like a serialized sort of experience and sort of anticipating they weren't going to find a mass audience? This wasn't going to compete with Batman. No way. But this could have found like a bunch of 16 and 25-year-old pothead fellows, which are also seated here at the room today.
yeah,
You know, we all grew up, and here we are, and it could have done that too at the time. That's probably what they were headed for, right? But it didn't find that.
Very possibly. Well, I know in my artistic endeavors in life, like I sort of, I never like consciously like think of like an audience for it. I just sort of hope that it resonates with somebody after I created it. So I mean, it's possible they did conceive of that in advance. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I don't know how much it did catch on as like a cult thing.
Well, and that was a big era for pay cable too.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so
There was a
could be-
buy through on this.
Yeah, it could be one of the things where, and especially because they would have worked so much with HBO and stuff for like if they've done specials for them and stuff.
Right.
It could be, and I know like a lot of the time studios will cut their losses if they've got a movie they know is going to bomb.
Right.
Why
I'm
drop
thinking
another?
Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
Well, yeah. Why drop another $2.5 million in advertising on a
Yeah,
movie you know is not
fuck
going to
it.
succeed anyway? So you
But
just
we're-
you just crap it out to a couple of theaters, and you don't put TVs on trailers on TV hardly anywhere, and you don't put up a million posters, and you just let it. And you know you're going to make some money back on probably VHS rentals
Right.
and on cable.
Well, but I will say too that like I think UHF actually did probably come out in 1990, but to compare that bombed too. But now, like, you know, you've got the Onion AV Club doing
Right.
like this extensive like article on every facet of like the making of the film, because here 25 years later it's become this beloved cult classic. And I don't know that this film has achieved even what UHF
No.
has achieved.
It doesn't even have an official DVD release. You
Yeah,
have to get
yeah,
it through special order.
Warner Archive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, they press it to order.
So you did a service here, Ed,
So,
picking this movie. You're
Well-
because the millions listening to us speak right now,
That's right.
are going to make this
Oh,
thing
yeah.
turn into a hit.
Well, huge shout out to Warner Archive, one of the greatest. Warner went from first to worst in terms of
yeah.
DVDs. When DVDs first started coming out, Warner Brothers had the biggest pieces of shit DVDs ever.
Yeah.
Goodfellas on two fucking sides of the disc.
Yeah, for
Fuck
one movie.
you. And then
Cardboard
piece of
sleeves
shit,
for
snap
piece of
everything.
shit.
Yeah,
You
those
can't-
terrible cardboard
you
snap
You
cases.
go in a chapter like you always skip
Right.
on the menu every 3 fucking chapters. Give me a break. But
Yeah.
now Warner's DVD is almost unparalleled. Well, not unparalleled, but it's one of the best.
Yeah,
and their,
if
and their
you-
archive service is fantastic.
Yeah, old school movies, old school cartoons. You love Hanna-Barbera cartoons from
Yeah.
the 60s and 70s.
Right.
Like,
If you ever want to see Luciano Pavarotti's only acting film
Yeah.
by Giorgio
Yeah.
on DVD from Warner Archive.
yeah, the Super
that was
Friends
what, about
roast.
80?
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
You're going to see the Super
The
Friends
greatest
roast on Warner
concert film of
Archives.
all time,
Which
Urga
is?
Music War,
Yep.
Oh.
is Warner Archive. The Maltese Bippy, the sort of laugh-in film by Dan Rowan and Dick Martin. Anyways, all right, well, let's get the fuck out of here because I got to tempt this bird.
think I made some lumpia.
We'll be back next week to talk about whatever the
some
fuck
loopy
we're gonna watch a little
There's
bit?
something about to
Yeah,
happen.
whatever our Thanksgiving
I'm curious about
pick
what you're going to
is.
tempt this bird with.
Ha ha ha.
I noticed you wearing shorts there,
I'm
fella.
gonna put on a lab coat and do my best Jack Elam from Cannonball Run.
We're going to shunt this bird.
Absolutely.
Come on, cheeks.
Just don't blow the Pope's nose.
It's so dirty when you say it.
All right, so thank
I'm
you
Matt.
for listening. We're
Oh.
gonna be we'll be back next week. Clockwise saying goodbye. I'm Ed.
I'm Condi.
I'm Thanksgiving John.
I'm Kenzie.
I'm Garrett.
I'm no longer inside of you.
Oh.
I'm still Matt.
All right, and we'll be back next week. Thanks so much for listening.